You're watching Boomerang from Cartoon Network.
Only in Toon Disney will you find the amazing quick change artist, Sonic the Hedgehog, Toon Disney's fastest Toon hero.
I even hold the speed record.
Earth. Fire. Air. Water.
Hey guys, welcome to Cartoon Chat, episode 22. I'm Brian Swan, joined today alongside my friend Austin. How you doing, man?
Good. My name is Austin. Most of y'all already know me, and I also go by AJETT.
Got some awesome news over the past couple of weeks. You are going to be at Otakon, man. You're gonna. That's. I mean, it's your dream. I wanted to bring this to the audience here because it's just such an awesome achievement.
Yeah,
you know, it's so
like he didn't specify like what I'll be doing at Otakon, but
I'm saying,
but I will be DJing the Otakon rave, and me and Brian have been talking about this since we were both in high school. We've like a year into us first meeting. Like I've been DJing since I was in 10th grade, and we like, I've been wanting to DJ at Otakon since I started, and I used to put in submissions, like, every single year.
of course.
Either that, or, like, there was one year where there was so many submissions that they had to shut it down in less than 48 hours.
That quickly.
They got almost 200 submissions in a day, or something like that.
Christ.
That might be a rumor, that's just what someone told me.
But it's not surprising me. You're
Yeah.
talking Otakon here, so yeah.
Yeah, and I guess this mix was different, you know?
Yeah, you get. It's a rare chance.
Yeah, it's a rare-ass chance.
It's a rare chance, but you got in. That's what's awesome about it. And so, you know, by the time this uploads, this will be, I think, a couple weeks before Otakon. This will be the weekend of everyone's favorite film, that I will not name. But
10 seconds ago?
yes, but
I feel like I'm gonna piss off a lot of your fans, but there's one reason I do want to see a Teen Titans Go movie.
is it the music? Is it the?
It's probably the worst reason for any of your fans at least to go see it.
Is it someone that will be playing Green Lantern?
Yes, it is someone that will be playing Green Lantern. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of Lil Yachty's music, but Lil Yachty as a person is fucking awesome. He is a wholesome human being, and if you can't acknowledge or accept that, then something is wrong with you. He's not even like one of these people that try to act like he's hard or anything like that. This nigga just did a Target commercial with Carly Rae Jepsen. Like how wholesome as a trap rapper can you get? And please, do not use the term mumble rap around me because that term is stupid. But still, like, Yachty is incredibly wholesome and I want nothing but the best for him.
No, and it's awesome that he got the gig, you know, just, you know.
But he's actually trying to shoot to do a voice acting role in Gumball.
That would be awesome. I'd also like him just to expand and go and do it.
And speaking of which, if Lil Yachty can get a cameo in Gumball, then T-Pain, because he's been asking for this for years, he needs to get his cameo or his gemstone in Steven Universe.
Yes. I haven't been keeping up with Steven Universe. This is something I wanted to talk about with you as well. We just, you know, it's been
almost a year since the last time we did a podcast.
It's been almost a year since we've done a podcast, and it's been almost, I think, since then, since I've tuned into Steven Universe, just because I've just stopped. I've been researching a lot of past, more historic stuff with animation now, and less about the super modern stuff going on. So I sort of phased away from it. But of course, there's been a lot of big Steven Universe news.
The little sponsorship with Dove.
That's impressive. I'm glad that they're like what I'm angry about, and I think one of the biggest issues that I have with Cartoon Network is that they have this gem, no pun intended. They have this gem, and they just didn't do anything. They kept shoving it into the most the darkest
in a
corners.
box.
They put it in the darkest corner so anyone could barely watch the premieres, barely pay attention to it. And then once it got high ratings, while they were still putting it in that box, they then bring it up again. I don't like. This is the most disrespectful. Like, this is the most disrespectful treatment of
here's the thing.
series.
While I am not a fan of the frequent hiatuses and the way that Cartoon Network treats their new shows in general and like their good shows in general,
right?
I feel like if Steven Universe had a steady Teen Titans Go-esque flow, not the oversaturation,
yes.
but like if they actually had new episodes every week and all of that, it would be ending a lot sooner than it is now. It wouldn't even have a season 6.
Of course, yeah, that's the one situation that it would be in, is that it would wrap up, because again, if it did the weekly new premiere, then all the story would have wrapped up by now or soon.
Yeah.
Right. That's one of the things that, when I did the future Cartoon Network prediction, I was like, I can't tell where Steven Universe's story is going to end, but the way that Cartoon Network keeps holding it and like moving it slowly, it didn't seem like it was going to last post 2020, but it might, just because they keep releasing it in these bursts.
Yeah.
That we might get another one like once every season or so, right? And it's like maybe there's enough there to last for 24 months, potentially.
Yeah, and like I said, if it was doing what Teen Titans Go was doing, it would be ending a lot sooner. Not to say that I like the hiatuses and all of that stuff.
Right.
I mean, work takes time, granted, but at the same time, I just like that. I feel like it's in a way a good thing because it builds up the anticipation for when it inevitably comes back.
Of course.
But there is one saving grace from Cartoon Network that no one is talking about, even though it just got marathoned all weekend as its premiere, and that is Summer Camp fucking Island.
Oh, I watched a little bit of that. We were both worried about. I think not worried, but like the art direction confused me, and I was fascinated because I didn't
liked
know
it because it looked like an old school storybook.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it looked like From Where the Wild Things Are, but it was definitely like influenced by that style.
I would say, yeah, I would see that.
Dr. Seuss and shit. And one thing I recently found out, Caleb McLaughlin, who plays Lucas from Stranger Things, did the voice of the Ghost in the Ghost episode.
Oh man, that's adorable. That's awesome.
If you're not watching Stranger Things, fucking watch Stranger Things. It is amazing. Season 3 is coming out fall 2019. So
it's gonna, you got a little bit of time to catch up. You have time,
and it's one of the first Netflix specials to get several Emmys. Nominate several Emmy nominations.
Well, you're gonna bring up House of Cards.
We're not talking. We're not talking about House of Cards because that dude is a sexual deviant.
What did Kevin Spacey do other than really disgusting things?
Exactly.
Oh man.
But the funny thing though, I was actually on the set of a House of Cards episode.
Really? Because they shoot in bold.
I wasn't recorded. I was just behind the set.
Sir, you're in the scene. You're in the scene.
But basically what happened was they were doing a scene in the Charleston train station.
Right.
And I was coming home from school.
You were at that scene. Dude, you know how that... Okay.
I had no idea what was going on.
That's such a crucial scene in the series that, that's a moment right there.
But I didn't know what was going on, but all I saw was this big white tent, and I saw all of these people dressed weird and shit. And it's just I asked somebody else, I was like, what's going on? They said, they're shooting something called House of Cards. I didn't even know what House of Cards was.
Yeah, I didn't catch it until 2 years ago maybe?
And all I know is that what pissed me off is that they were using the trains for the scene, and they kind of had them on a time. They had them on a time limit or something like that. So it took so much longer for me to actually get home because
they were delaying it.
Yeah, they were intentionally delaying it for the scenes.
That's funny.
I'm just I don't fucking care about your show. I want to go home.
I always thought what they would do is that they would shoot it later on, like at
The
night.
thing is, though,
I'm confused why they didn't just shoot it at night or something like that.
All I know is I know that it's centered around DC.
It's centered around DC, and they use a lot of areas in Maryland that have the look and feel of.
And like I actually took DC's Metro when I was in DC for certain reasons that I won't go into. The DC Metro is incredibly crowded, so I understand why they use the Maryland
Much
Metro.
more compressed.
Yeah.
Much more much bigger population, and they have more lines than we do. We only have their one minimal old.
But since we're talking about past and stuff, I've been kind of requesting this story. Like I wanted to wait until Brian was going to do a Q&A with me and him.
We will get there. We will get there in a we will get there in a second. I have one more question to ask you about. I want to talk about. A couple months ago, I think Rick and Morty had the. If I still have the thing pulled up, I wanted to get your thoughts on this this Rick and Morty thing.
What happened?
So it's not anything bad. What it was in the what happened, I think, was that they're getting renewed. Of course, they got renewed because they're by the way, Rick and Morty, most popular show probably right now on television. The finale was the highest rated show of any show on cable.
Season 3 bothered me.
Was it what? Was it bad or what? Was it?
Status quo is God.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so this is what they're renewing Rick and Morty for 70 episodes. So my question is for you, and I think this, in my opinion, I don't know if I have confidence in the show, but this might be the point where, because we always think about where shows jump the shark. Rick and Morty has 31 episodes in 3 seasons. They just renewed it for 70 episodes. So that's like, the push, the amount of content that you're producing now is so beyond any time before that it almost runs
I just
risk.
hope that it doesn't get Teen Titans Go syndrome or SpongeBob syndrome.
Exactly.
It's one thing if, how SpongeBob was on that rumored 20-year contract after the movie and it was never allowed to go away ever. And the fact that Fairly Odd Parents, it outlived Fairly Odd Parents. So, I don't know for sure, but I feel as though season 3 was kind of the worst season. It wasn't terrible, but the one scene, Beth annoyed the crap out of me.
Beth always... Well, no, there was some development to her character, I think, in especially season 2.
But the season finale demolished all of it.
Right.
It defeated the purpose of doing it because Beth was going through her little clone crisis, and I honestly wanted to see what would happen if they actually did the clone thing.
Of course.
I wanted to see an episode in season 4 where Beth goes on her own legacy and Beth explores who she is as a person, and
they didn't reach for it. They just
the fact that they just turned it into this, oh my god, am I a clone crisis, and it for some reason it caused her to get back with Jerry.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Jerry didn't learn anything. Beth didn't learn anything.
They were all reset pretty much.
The only person that really learned something was Morty.
Morty, yeah, you can tell.
Morty actually standing up to Rick, and Morty actually becoming his own man, but also becoming a more tolerable and more understandable version of Rick that has a bit more morals and less bitter than the fandom thinks that they claim to be. The people that swear to God they're Ricks, but in reality they're fucking Jerrys.
Right.
They're fucking Jerrys. And the episodes where Jerry gets his ass torn apart by Rick and his kids was amazing. That whole speech that Rick gave Jerry when he was getting swallowed up by the worm, I felt that. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Jerry still ceases to learn anything from everyone getting into his shit.
I don't know if that's but I would say Jerry not learning anything, is that just because Jerry is going to be Jerry, and that's what the writers want to have in mind. Jerry's going to be Jerry, and that's where he's going to go. You can't really grow this character. He's just like a human being.
Like, because in like the first season, I originally saw him as the Meg, but at the same time, Jerry's behavior and the things that he does warrants people to tell him to shut the fuck up and leave them alone.
Right.
Like, it's not like with Meg where she's just the run of the litter and everyone just picks on her just because.
No, there are reasons.
Yeah.
There are reasons.
Jerry has like essentially like dragged Beth's life into something that she didn't want to do. You know, she wanted to be a doctor, but then she just became a vet.
Right.
And like their kids are fucking miserable. Summer has some development, but at the same time they don't do much with it.
They keep her in this space that is contained to
this gray area.
Yeah.
Like it's this gray area where like,
but she's like maybe because that she's a teenager. Is she a teenager or like a college? I can't.
She's 17.
Okay, like you can't really tell from the design.
Like she's still in high school. Like there are instances where she wants to be popular. Like she wants to be the stereotypical popular girl, but she also wants to be like around Rick and like have her own adventures with Rick. And
that's what I think there's something cool.
And like she has a secret envy for Morty, and like they're actually like involving her in the adventures. And like
I love that.
That's one thing I liked about season 3. Everybody got to have their own adventure with Rick.
Exactly.
And everybody took something different from it. And the opener, well, technically it's not the opener. Like the one that they spammed on April Fools.
That was
That I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the next one.
Okay.
And like I liked how after the divorce, each character had their own. They were Morty and Summer had their own reactions to Jerry, and Beth splitting up. Whereas like Morty is just like on the inside, he wants Jerry to stop being a bitch and actually be a man and take action and take responsibility for his actions and stuff. Whereas Summer had to learn about how to accept divorce through going through her own marriage and going through her own divorce.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that seeing Morty develop and seeing that's Morty particularly, just seeing him grow into who he is now has been one of the best things to watch in the past.
And
couple of years.
Like I didn't like what they were originally doing with Summer before the end of the episode, like season 3, episode 2, where like she was just kind of this one-dimensional,
just
teenager, just kind of like bullying Jerry and all of that shit, like just because they were splitting up, and she thought that Rick was better. When Morty had to explain to her, Rick isn't perfect either. He is far from perfect.
No.
He is not someone that you should idolize. Granted, he's a genius. He has all of this tech, and he has all of this knowledge. He's still a toxic, problematic human being that no one should look up to be like.
Yeah,
And that's the one thing I can't stand about the Rick and Morty fandom is that like they're just these like ignorant ass radical centrists. They swear to God that they hate everything like type, and they idolize that behavior in Rick when that's not something to idolize.
No.
That's not someone you want to be like. Even BoJack Horseman does a better job.
Attention to that.
BoJack Horseman does a much better job at
emphasizing
portraying
the character's flaws.
Emphasizing the character's flaws and making it so we are not supposed to sympathize with them.
Right.
We're supposed to learn from their mistakes and become better people. Fuck, there's reasons why.
But yeah, that's the every fandom has that issue, Well, not every fandom, but particularly that fandom has the issue of finding itself loving the characters too much and not really paying attention to the underlying flaws of particularly the sort of super awesome icon of, Rick.
I did, aside from the Pickle, in the Pickle Rick episode, I felt like it was, incredibly shoehorning in the joke. Pickle Rick! The therapy session was incredibly underlooked.
I wish there was more to that.
Exactly.
It didn't... there could have been so much potential to expand more on.
And like I get that he became like he turned himself into a pickle to avoid going to therapy. I totally get that, but at the same time, I wish that he actually went because when he needed therapy more than anyone else in that room did.
Right.
Granted, Morty was urinating at his desk and someone was huffing paint,
but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the...
Beth and Rick needed therapy a lot more than anyone in that room.
So remind me, the last episode, is it the last episode of season 3 where Rick is about to kill himself and then he doesn't?
No, the last episode of season 3
what was that 2?
Is his little battle with the president and then Morty.
That's right.
That's why I said that the status quo is God, because that's where Beth and Jerry got back together. Morty stood up to Rick and Morty was running and hiding from Rick. And now Rick is essentially the Jerry of the family.
Keeping things like that, it wraps it up in a nice, in a not a nice bow, just a, all right, let's return to form, and so we can throw this back, and now we'll go into season 4, and we can just do this, It's a stark contrast to like. The lengths that... Have you seen Final Space yet?
No.
It's
like... I haven't gotten into it. I've seen Rebel Taxi's review of it. Also, Rebel Taxi revealed this face and he talked to you! But, I don't see myself following too much into Final Space. Not because I think it's a bad show, but, like, Rebel Taxi definitely highlighted the screaming moments and all of that stuff, and it's just, like... It made me feel like, granted,
I haven't seen this review. So
like,
what were
it was just like how the main character, I don't remember his name. He just kind of like, and it was the more comedic moments where he just kind of screams, like comedically and all of that type of thing. It made me feel like this show was going to be the Teen Titans Go of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I did too when I first saw it. But what you realize, and there's so much underneath. Once you
I wasn't saying it was going to be a Rick and Morty ripoff.
No, but it did. It seemed like it because it's like, oh, you're in space, you're telling jokes. Okay, I get where you're, and you have a main character that's like trying to be
hyperactive and screaming.
Yeah. What you see beyond episode 1 though is a really solid show. It is my favorite show, of the past year, and that's not counting anime because I just watched Violet Evergarden, and that's I think probably my favorite anime of the past year.
Speaking of anime, I just got into My Hero Academia.
I just got into My Hero Academia as well, and if there was a way to get interested in a character or get yourself invested into a character, just push those first few episodes out, and you are right behind. You are right behind that character.
I was crying first 3 episodes.
Yes.
Because this was, I think, a couple nights after I got the email saying, hey, you're DJing Otakon.
Right.
And the fact that...
The connection.
Yeah, it was the connection. I felt that shit hard. Because, I've been trying to accomplish something that I thought that was impossible.
Right.
And to, see him and me accomplish our dreams, and saying oh, we can be heroes, we can do whatever we want if we put our minds to it. Yeah. It's just holy shit, I need it. Where was this anime when I was in my depressive ruts?
It's right. It's such a great launch, and such a great. I just seeing him get that letter, and when he's I know I didn't. It's it's so good, man. And I can only recall the first 4 or 5 episodes. That's as far as I've gotten.
I'm only in episode 3, but I already figured that he was in the academy. He got into the academy.
Well, yeah, because the show wouldn't I thought either he wouldn't get in, and then something would happen. And he'd
and he would just become an anti-hero, not a registered hero.
Yes, that's where I thought he would think.
Well, not an anti-hero, but a
in his own right, he'd become
a vigilante.
Right. Yeah. But either way, though, I thought, God, that was so cool. Because, yeah. When you first see him, I think in the first episode, I was getting a lot of connection to, have you seen The Future Diary? I was getting a lot of connection to, I think it's Yuki is the character's name, because they were drawing a lot of parallels, but where they separate is you really get way more invested in the My Hero Academia storyline way quicker because of the way that they build it up so well. And they have you interested in his drive and the way that he's like dreaming about it, just striving for it. You know, it just a brilliant way to get people invested in the character. That is I think a great example of doing that. But yeah, what was I talking about before? I was talking about Final Space. Final Space is the opposite of that, because when you start, you start with this character that looks like an idiot, and he is, but that's because he's been
It's not the type of character that's actually been trying to get to where he was. It just kind of happened.
He's there. He's there because he's been doing a prison sentence for 4 years in a spaceship, and like he's just gone mad. So his comedy is like trash because of the fact.
His comedy is sad.
His comedy is sad, and it's just humorless, and it's just him making jokes because he'd probably rather kill himself. And it's just like I'm on this.
That's pretty much Rick. Rick.
Maybe they wrote this character a little. I didn't notice that, but like,
that's fucking Rick.
And when do you make the connection? Oh my god! I still think that there's more to this show though.
Like, I'm sorry, because like you're gassing this show up so hard, like, oh, it's nothing like Rick and Morty, but the way that you just explained how he conceals his sadness with humor and like catchphrases and shit, that's fucking Rick. Like, it's clearly Rick.
No, I see that. But I also see that the cast of characters surrounding him, when you get to the cast of characters and you get to a situation, of how he gets there as well. Because it's not really about him as much as it is about the rest of the team that you start to develop. So you have to get past those first few episodes just to get into the team that reminds me a lot of the first Star Wars movie. This reminded me so much of like, and a space opera, and this is what the creator said, he wanted to make a space opera. And you get with this, I think the character just is wrong. The problem is that the introduction to this character is just horribly introduced, and you gotta get past these first few episodes, and you meet Avocado, who is the wolf character.
Is he squatchy?
He's kind of like Star Fox, but not Fox. He's like, you know. And so like you get these things that are so much more deeper than the surface of where I think Jerry. No, not Jerry. I'm thinking of Rick and Morty still. Where God, what is his name? But there's so much more beyond the surface. You get past those first 2 episodes, you're just gonna love the series. By the end of it, you're gonna miss the series. It's gonna be a great show. It wraps up in like I think 10, 11 episodes. And by the end, it's like there's so many stakes here. Main characters die, and they do not return. There are critical things that are just effectively altered, and it's beautiful.
So now we're ripping off Infinity War? So no, I'm playing.
It's like all of it. Like, I'll take some of this. I'll take some of this. Oh my god.
I mean, essentially though, like just to kind of go off topic, that's kind of like what Stranger Things did. Like Stranger Things, takes from almost every single 80s horror film, but it does it to the point where it made it its own thing. Not to mention that I feel like Finn Wolfhard was secretly kidnapped from the 80s because all he's doing now are like roles from 80s films and like 80s based media. He did It. He did a song with Ninja Sex Party, which is like based on Danny's like childhood.
Yes.
So it's just like I think Finn Wolfhard is just like going to be trapped in 80s roles for the rest of his life. Aside from this one weird like dog movie or something like that. But
oh my God.
It looks like no disrespect to Finn Wolfhard, you are a fucking talented child,
but you are
and no one should hurt you. But this movie looks like a straight to DVD.
What movie?
I don't remember the name of it. I don't know the name of it.
Is it Show Dogs?
I think.
It already came out.
No, it wasn't that. I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I think he was the one that posted it, or it was a sponsored post. But it was just like Finn Wolfhard, and he was just like, this was his less like no.
This is the movie you don't do if you want to become a blockbuster. Well, I mean, but then again, parts. So I don't know Hollywood, so I don't know what parts you can get. So I guess look, you're getting on the big screen. Good luck. I hope you get more parts, but I hope this does not sink your career. It will. I hope it. I mean,
Stranger Things is coming for season 3
anyway. 2019.
So
that will save whatever damage this movie does.
Finn can do no wrong. Plus he has his band Calpurnia. Unless he accidentally says some edgy shit on Twitter or something like that.
Or Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Like Kevin Spacey or Louis C.K.
Oh my God! I think we can just increase this. Well, let's count off Charlie Rose, Matt Lauer,
and R. Kelly.
I already forgot. I don't. Who else are we?
Who's the fucking guy from iCarly? Dan Schneider.
God, I was so
especially if it involves feet. Like
there's
just like a scene in Stranger Things where like, okay, this is the scene where Mikey, like he just kind of like he's watching Eleven sleep and then he just starts touching her feet.
What? Who let Dan Schneider in the director's chair? Get him out! He's like onto the camera. He's like. Yes. A little more zoom. God, that's so creepy though. Like, dude, that was happening.
When you go back and watch the shows,
it was all over the place. But like, the fact that like all kids and like he was doing this for like decades.
And dude, the fact that he like paid a girl $100 to tickle her feet. Did you hear about that shit?
Oh my God! What kind of world are we in? Well, we're in this world. I'm not surprised. Never mind. I'm not surprised anymore. I had to step back. We're in this world.
Like after that whole thing came out, all of that stuff came out, and you actually go back and watch the shows, it makes it creepier.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I cannot look back at Carly.
You can't look at it the same.
Yeah, it's tainted with like it's kind of like going back. It's
tainted. It's like going back to fetish.
It's like going back to the Cosby Show. It's like like or like Little Bill. Just I'm so sorry, kid. You're I'm so sorry, man. Yeah. No. What else? To say? You know what stinks?
What?
I lost my train of thought. No, there was this show on a show just came out on Disney Channel. If it hasn't just come out, I was watching it. I saw it, and I think it's one of the best cartoons. Not best that I in terms of my opinion, but like just a good, fun, awesome. Like this is what a cool cartoon is. It's on Disney Channel. It's like there are like these 3 kids, and like it's a family. Mm-hmm. And it's one of them talks like country, one of them talks like.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
Exactly, I don't know what it is, but it's so cool. It's like it's a good show. It's not generic. It's quality.
You know what another good show is?
What?
Craig of the fucking Creek.
Oh my God, seeing this show, dude, I am so glad because I remember when this was announced and. Man, it's good to see it out. It's good to see it just all over Cartoon Network. It's not being hidden. It's not like last year. It's being aired. It's man.
Like it's such a good show, and like with Clarence ending, and like all of these like good shows coming to an end. It's a good counter. It's a good start for the new gen renaissance.
Of course.
Like it's a good start for the new renaissance of Cartoon Network if there is going to be one.
By 2021, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I see like hints of Clarence. I see hints of Ed and Eddie.
Exactly. I just see that. It's just a fun slice of life adventure. That's what I see. It's like it's so cool. Like I don't have anything. There's nothing. This show is just straight up cool. And also, it's good to have a show like that.
I don't want to bring up my little ships and stuff, but. I have a theory that Susan from Summer Camp Island is pansexual.
From some,
or
Susan
is by the head the head witch?
Well, I don't know. I don't tend to put. I don't know.
I don't know, because, like, LGBT representation is already big enough. Plus, in the Ghost episode, the Ghost had 2 dads, so
There you go.
they were already kind of just shoehorning it in anyhow.
Right. I'm honestly, I'm just glad that it's now. Remember, like a couple years ago, we were saying this conversation, like, "Oh, I'm so glad that we're finally starting to see it." It's normal now. It's just like
I'm
a normal.
glad that
dude,
it's
a
normal.
normal part of cartoons now. It's just we are past that lump.
We're past that
hump
part
is
where,
over.
like, it's
We have
stupefying.
Right. It's gone, and I think that's awesome. We've evolved as a community, and it's just like, all right, there we go. We're past it. You know what I think we're gonna do? I think because we were gonna do a bio, just a back and forth, and but I think what I'm gonna do is gonna separate this, and this is gonna be a set of topics. I think we've already gone, and like almost it's 4:13. I think we've gone pretty much like, if I'm not mistaken, about 45 minutes.
Check GarageBand.
I can't check. It's like it tells me the beats per. So yeah, about 1,065. And if it, so I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna render it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make another file straight for the Q and the next
The
one.
A.
Yeah.
Because there is no Q.
So that's what we're gonna do. And if it's actually shorter than I think, I'm just gonna put it all together. So
Gotcha.
yeah. So yeah, man, this was an awesome cartoon chat. Thanks for it's been a while, but it's awesome to have another conversation. And thank you for letting me use this awesome microphone, because this sound is gorgeous.
Yeah, my aunt just kind of just gave me a Blue Yeti out of nowhere. She said she had it laying around the house and didn't have any use for it, so she just kind of gave it to me.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah. Again, find Austin at AJETT on SoundCloud, YouTube,
Twitter, Instagram,
all the sources and places. MySpace,
probably.
probably somewhere. YouPorn, right? Yeah. And of course, find me, Animation Nation, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, stay tuned for more.